What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the live Thursday edition of Dodgers Territory. I'm Alanna Rizzo. That is Clint Pasillas. We're so happy that you're with us. And hey, thanks a lot, you guys. We have now surpassed 8,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We appreciate you so much for being here, for being a part of the show as the family and the platform grows. So thank you so much. Make sure you like us, rate us 5 stars, all the things to keep the channel growing. We appreciate you so much. 2-time World Series champion Chris Taylor, CT3, coming up on the show in just a few moments. But before we welcome in Chris, let's get to the big ticket.
Let's do it.
All right, so as we speak right now, not to say you should leave us to go over there, but as we speak right now, Tanner Scott is being introduced officially by the Los Angeles Dodgers. So Roki Sasaki a couple of days ago, Tanner Scott right now. Welcome to the club, sir. Happy to have you in that bullpen. And perhaps Kirby Yates, Clint.
Maybe.
Bob Nightingale is the only one that I have seen report that Kirby Yates could be headed to the Los Angeles Dodgers, perhaps with Michael Kopech expected to miss a little bit of time. I don't know that that's the case. Not to discount what Bob is saying, but Brandon Gomes, assistant or GM of the Dodgers, came out and said that Kopech is fine. He doesn't anticipate any problems right now. How are you reading into this? As you can see, Bill Plunkett saying that Kopech was grinding last October, like many of us were. He's well into his offseason throwing program, so no concern. Are you concerned, Clint Pasillas?
I don't know that I'm concerned yet. A couple things to dive into here. Obviously, we have Kirby Yates. We will say, far from official. I would argue that Ken Rosenthal poured a little bit of cold water on Bob Nightingale's report there. But focusing on the Kopech side, of course, he's a very important part, very integral part of this Dodgers bullpen. This what could be a very, very good Dodgers bullpen. I really like the part here. Our friend Bill Plunkett says, The reports are overblown. It did kind of surface, and everybody sort of got very, very scared on the internet very quick. Like, oh man, what's going on with Michael Kopech? I'm not terribly worried. I agree with the idea that, yeah, everybody is going through something at that point in the season. Michael Kopech stayed available for this team all the way through the World Series run, so it's not something I'm worried about. Now let's switch to the potential addition of Kirby Yates. It's just another fantastic move for the Dodgers. You got Tanner Scott being official as we speak. That raises the ceiling, and this is something I talked about on my show. You got a ceiling raiser and a floor raiser in Kirby Yates, who was arguably the second best reliever in the American League last year, behind Emmanuel Clase. Just more brilliance from the Dodgers front office.
It's just stupid. I mean, if you think about it, even I was like, oh my God, Kirby Yates too, but my goodness, you get Blake Trinan back, right? We did that early on. And then they signed Tanner Scott, which is all we were asking for. And then, by the way, they may get Kirby Yates as well. Game over. I mean, that is one heck of a Dodgers bullpen. And I like the bullpen even before the Tanner Scott signing. So I really, really like the bullpen now. But that leads me to the next question for you, Clint. There's not enough room the Dodgers need a 70-man roster. There's really not enough room right now. So what would happen in terms of getting Kirby Yates onto this roster if you figure that is the case? Remember, we talked about the fact that the Dodgers can start moving guys around on February 8th. They can go a little earlier than 28 other teams. The Cubs can do it too because of that series in Tokyo. What are some movable pieces in your mind that the Dodgers could move in order to get Yates on the roster?
Yeah, I mean, if it all depends on if he's okay waiting. And this is where we also talked a good little bit about like the Kike Hernandez situation. If people are okay waiting, it's not going to be as big of an issue. I just posted the screenshot there. Of course, Bob Nightingale mentioning Dodgers are looking to shop some pieces. One of those guys being an obvious piece in Ryan Brazier, who had some injury issues last year, kind of had some up and downs, but was an important part of that World Series run. But there's there's somebody like him. There's maybe a Michael Grove who can find himself available in a trade. Bobby Miller is a name I've seen some fans try to throw out here and there. I don't think the team looks to move Bobby Miller because he's still young, team control. He's got a 100-mile-an-hour fastball when he's right. He's got a nasty changeup. I threw out the idea on Twitter the other day, and I'm not asking for it. I'm not a proponent. I'm not pushing for it. I'm just saying if they really wanted to be creative, they could also look to maybe move like a Tony Gonsolin or a Dustin May in some sort of deal. And I understand you're kind of selling low on dudes like that at this point in the offseason, but you could potentially move those type of dudes, and you get another dude who maybe is guaranteed to get you more innings in Jack Flaherty, who very much wants to return to the Dodgers. So there are there's some pieces.
Jack Flaherty was just on foul territory with the boys talking about his whole free agency stuff. And I also like the fact that Jack, tweeted, listen, one team is not ruining baseball. The other 29 are not doing what they can do. So I like the fact that he wants to be on the Dodgers. He's not there right now yet. He's still supporting all of the offseason moves that they're doing. We're going to welcome in CT3 here momentarily as we get him linked up. We're just working on some technical things right now with him. It's difficult, too, because as we talk about this, you never want to see some of these guys get moved. But the idea is to run it back, right? And there's some massive, massive pieces. And you and I talked about this on Monday, how Andrew Friedman's like, let's get these pieces now and not worry about getting big pieces at the deadline. Let's just tweak what we need to do at the deadline. I mean, do you think, honestly, that going into the season, this is the best laid team that we have put together in the Andrew Friedman era?
It's hard to say no, or hard to argue like no. We've seen better teams. I mean, that 2022 team that went out and won 111 games, that was a phenomenal baseball team, but very clearly had some issues, had some holes in its game, and that's where they got bounced in that first round. But I mean, if you're talking about talent, like I said, floor dudes, floor raisers and ceiling raisers, and being a club that is built to try to run it back, this team, you can't find a better stacked team compared to the league and compared to teams over the last, we'll just say the Guggenheim era. You can't find a team with more talent than the Los Angeles Dodgers. So will there be question marks? For sure. You don't know what second base is going to look like. Maybe the guy who's joining us in a second, Chris Taylor, is part of that mix. You don't know how Mookie handles short all the way, all that kind of stuff. There are certainly some questions along the way, but Dodgers are an incredible spot. And you know what's funny? The offseason ain't over yet.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. Spring training in about 3.5 weeks. All right, back in a second with Chris Taylor after a quick word from Todd Frazier, Eric Kratz, and Scott Braun on Hungryroot.
Cool.
Kratz, do you like spending an hour on grocery shopping?
Nope. Speed up the process, please.
Introducing Hungryroot to the FT fam.
Now we can all be bougie with our own personal shopper to handle the food shopping, including recs based on what you're looking to put in your body.
I stack my Hungryroot box with items like gluten-free, dairy-free blueberry waffles for breakfast, shrimp veggie bowls for lunch, and a little filet mignon with potatoes and broccolini for dinner.
You can also say just, hey, Hungryroot, I eat paleo, or I'm vegetarian, and they load up your cart with personalized recommendations.
And those recs keep evolving as they learn about what you're into. Also, no BS, as in no artificial sweeteners or preservatives in any of Hungryroot's food. You're going to love Hungryroot as much as FT does. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/FT and use code FT. That's hungryroot.com/FT, code FT, to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life.
Appreciate Hungryroot being a part of the show, but I appreciate Chris Taylor being a part of the show even more. CT3, two-time World Series champion, joining us on Dodgers territory right now. Chris, thank you. I know that you and your wife, Mary, have been so busy and so involved in wildfire relief through the Chris Taylor Foundation. So thanks for taking the time to be with us. How are you, my friend?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. Been a busy off season, but I'm enjoying it and getting excited for this season to come around.
Yeah, what excites you the most? I don't know if you're like us, Chris. Every single time we turn around, someone's being signed by the Los Angeles Dodgers. We're like, holy crap, what a team. What are you most excited about when you get to Camelback in a few weeks?
Uh, a lot. I mean, just to see the guys, I mean, spring training is always exciting. It's like a fresh start, new year. But yeah, just to see the guys again. Obviously, there's going to be a ton of excitement around the team, so the energy is going to be great with all the fans. Um, some new additions. We brought some guys back, so yeah, we should have a really strong team, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, hell of a run. Congrats. We love seeing this. You guys finally get that parade that we were robbed of in 20 and robbed of for different reasons in 2017, perhaps. But, how enjoyable was that parade knowing that after just an overall for the team, a tough season, injuries, really injuries decimated. That's the biggest thing. But to come put it all together and it results in this moment. That's got to be something pretty dang special. And then, of course, the World Series parade through LA. Just talk about that for the fans.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it, right? It felt like that parade was long overdue for especially us guys that were on that 2020 team. And for me being on this team since 2016, I know how hard it is to win a World Series. We had been there a couple times before we finally won. And then we didn't get to celebrate that parade. So this year was special because we won that. That picture you showed, that's what it's all about, right? That's why you go through the grind of the season and put in all the work and all the ups and downs for that moment, to share that with your family, and then to share it with your teammates and to finally be able to have that parade for the entire city of Los Angeles. I think we get caught up in our own bubble, so to speak, no pun intended with 2020, but we obviously see the fans at the stadium, which is like 50,000 people, right? But you don't realize how much support you have from all over the world now. We're like a worldwide team now that you're bringing in some of these international signings. And to see LA show out like that for the parade was unbelievable, and it really put things in perspective, like how big a following we have. Obviously, we know it, but to see it firsthand was it was special.
It really was a sight to behold. It's so insane to see everybody in the streets cheering you guys, and obviously, but now, look how good you guys had of a year last year, but it's what have you done for me lately, Chris Taylor? They're going to expect you guys to run it back. Let us speak to the 2025 season. In the second half of 2024, you had a really good season. You made the most of your opportunities. What can you take from the second half into the offseason, into spring training, to get where you want to be offensively in the year ahead?
Yeah, it was just good for my confidence to kind of bounce back a little bit, and not even bounce back to the player I know I'm capable of or the player I want to be this coming season, but just to bounce back from where I started to contribute in some way. That was my only goal after the start of my season. I wanted to help the team win any way I could, and my goal was to be a role in the postseason some way. I wanted to help the team some way, and to be able to be on the postseason roster, play in a few games, and be there when we won the World Series, be on the field when we threw the last pitch. That was special for me, and going into this season, I'm trying to build off of that. My goal is never to be a bench player or a role player off the bench. My goal is to be an everyday player, and I'm attacking the offseason that way, and I'm working on building on some stuff that I was working on at the end of the year, and I'm going into spring training hoping to have a turnaround and really contribute this season.
Yeah, I wondered if you could kind of expand on that at all, because read quotes from you talking about some of the swing changes you tried to implement last year. leading to some of the issues that were going on. Obviously, there's some health issues as well in there. Where do you feel the swing is at now? What sort of things are you working on? I think I remember something about you trying to like level out the swing more, and that's just maybe not your game. Where is the swing at now, and what sort of things have you guys been working on in the cage?
I feel really good right now. Like I said, I'm building off of what I kind of found at the end of the season and trying to improve those things. I'm not making any like huge changes. I'm just trying to pick a few key things with my swing, things that I know are important for me, that when they're right, that's when I'm at my best. And I'm trying to make those 2 or 3 things my main focus every day for the off season. And I think I've fallen into the trap of chasing different targets throughout the course of a season, and it can be a slippery slope, and it can sometimes make things worse. And that's kind of been my focus this off season, is not to get off track. I talked with the hitting coaches at the end of the regular season and kind of came up with a plan going into the off season. And we pinpointed a few things that were very important for me to have success, and that's been our focus.
It's great. No wholesale changes necessary. Kind of stick to what got you there. And I remember when you got to LA, Chris. I remember when there was the trade, and Zach Lee ended up going to Seattle, and this guy by the name of Chris Taylor comes over to Los Angeles. And it was just so good to get to know you and become such an instrumental part of what LA was about, and such big postseason moments and stuff. Not to say that you're done anytime soon, but have you taken a moment now that you've hoisted a trophy twice to just kind of reflect on the career that you've had so far with LA, and how much of a change just that one trade caused in your life?
Yeah, it was life-changing, to say the least. Not only for my baseball career, but for my entire life. LA is my home now. I met my wife here. We have a son, a 14-month-old. So my complete, like, that one day of getting traded to the Dodgers completely transformed my life in the best way possible. And I'm so thankful for that. I truly believe that was fate. And, I'm so blessed to have the opportunity to be a Dodger and live in this city. And it's been unbelievable.
Speaking about the great city of Los Angeles, obviously so much devastation has gone on with these wildfires. You and your foundation and your wife have done your part to pledge some help, some financial support to victims of these fires, people that have been affected. Could you just kind of speak more to what you guys can do and what you hope other people can help either victims or the CT3 Foundation do to continue to help people bounce back and rebuild from the devastating fires?
Yeah, that was we had that fundraiser on our Instagram page, and the people really showed out. We were not expecting to get that big of contributions, raising over $50,000 on
That's awesome.
on an Instagram fundraiser. It was incredible. We did not expect that. So completely blown away by the support, which just shows the people are looking to help, right? They want to help. They know, they've seen firsthand, a lot of them, the devastation that the fires have had. And I think people are just looking to give back. And, I think that's why we do this is going to be our second Polar Plunge this year on February 2nd. And we added the LA Fire Department Foundation as a second beneficiary to the Friendship Foundation. And, that was very important to us. And hopefully all my teammates, I think almost my entire team showed up last year. It was the day after Dodger Fest, which is fortunate. Everybody's in town. And it's a good time. We just all get in the water. You can see on the picture there. Guys were body surfing back into the beach.
There's a lot of abs out there as well.
That's the thing about baseball. There's all kinds of bodies.
Bodies.
Out there.
Yeah, Michelle C is a big
Disease.
fan of yours, obviously a big fan of the Dodgers. She tweeted earlier. She wanted to know if you were going to wear floaties again, CT, when you do the polar plunge.
I don't know what I'm gonna do this year, but I got to do something creative, right? I, we'll see. I got to think about it, but maybe we'll hand out some T-shirts or something. But it would be cool if we could have everybody dress up or get creative with what they're wearing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta
no
have the
doubt
flippy
about that.
floppies with it. Little flippy floppies.
No, no doubt about that. So you got the second annual CT3 Polar Plunge coming up on February 2nd. Obviously, everybody contributing to the wildfire relief as well. So thank you so much to you and to Mary and to Theo, who's out there as well, doing all the stuff for the community. I look back at the career that you've had so far with LA, and I just feel like there's still so much that this team wants to achieve. As a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers, Chris, how much can you appreciate, if you do? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the job that the ownership group does, giving you guys the tools and the players that surround you to run it back. I mean, at spring training, everyone's hopeful, right? But the Dodgers have a legitimate chance every single year. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think that's what every player wants. I think that's a big reason guys want to come play here. They know that the guys up top want to win a World Series, and the goal each and every year is to want to win a World Series just like the players. And unfortunately, it's not that way in every organization. So we are very lucky. Every offseason, it feels like, whether it's the offseason or the trade deadline or whatever it is, we're always making moves with an intention to win this year. And that's why I want to be here. I've always said the most important games of my life and the biggest moments of my career are always in October. It's, there's big games in the regular season, but once you get a taste of playing in the postseason, nothing really compares to that. And that's my goal. I want to be there in the postseason. And that's truly what really matters at the end of the year. And I think when I look back at my career, those are going to be all the memories I have that really stick out.
Yeah, and barring Armageddon, the Dodgers are in the postseason every single year. Let me ask you this. When you hear folks say that the Dodgers are ruining baseball by all of the signings and deferrals, what is your answer to that?
Um, yeah, no, I mean, I've seen a few people comment on this, and I kind of agree with them. I think we're doing all the right things. The goal should be for every team to win this year, and I think that's what makes it most exciting. And I don't think they should be mad at us. They should be mad at their own teams for not making those moves. And I think a counter argument could also be, it's good for baseball to have a villain, right? And if we have to be the villain, then that makes for more entertainment, I think. Guys having Shohei and Freddie and Mookie and Roki and Yoshi and all these guys on the same team playing on TV for one of the biggest franchises in sports, I don't see how that could be bad.
Piggybacking off of that, people that have something negative to say about all of the work this team is doing in the offseason and even last year probably didn't see this team, in August and September when everybody, every player, every pitcher were just falling like flies with injury. I want to, this is kind of selfishly for me, I want to go back to, we heard on Mookie Betts' podcast, amongst other spots, Dave, your manager Dave Roberts had a message to the team early in September after you guys learned Tyler Glasnow probably out for the season and the postseason and all that, the rare closed door meeting from Doc. What kind of was the message there, and how did that prove to or help to galvanize the boys and get over that hump that you'd been chasing since 2020?
Yeah, we were in Atlanta at the time. I think, as you said, Glasnow had just been injured. Stoney had just come off being out for the year. We had a few other pitchers. I think Kershaw was out. And at the time, I think we only had like 3 or 4 starting pitchers that were healthy. A lot of those guys that had been in AAA most of the year. So we were definitely grinding a little bit. And Doc just called the guys together. I mean, the vibe was down a little bit, obviously, with the news of Glass now. I think with everybody, the staff, the players, front office. And he called that meeting and kind of just told us, like, we're going to do this thing together. He believes in us. We're going to lean on one another. And guys are going to have to step up, basically. Guys that haven't contributed up to this point are going to have to step up and be those guys. And we're the Dodgers. We have the deepest organization in all of baseball in our mind. And guys have been waiting for the opportunity, and they're going to have it now. And, I think it just kind of re-energized us and gave us that push on the back half of the season and into the postseason.
All right, well, we'll let you get out of here on what I'm going to call a dumb one, another selfish one for friends on the internet. We talked about seeing on the internet a whole bunch, Dodgers are bad for baseball. Chris Taylor, if you've been on the internet at any point in your life, you've seen Chris Taylor has never done anything wrong in his life. When you see that, what does that I see it elicit a smile right away. What does that do for you? And is that just one of those things that's the funny secondary stuff of being a pro baseball player?
It's funny to me because it's so wrong, and my wife can attest to that. I mean, I think maybe it's just one of those things where I have a reserved personality, and I think it does take a little while to get to know me, and people see that shyness as innocence, or I don't know what it is, but I promise you I do a lot wrong.
You should see his juvenile rap sheet. I mean, so many thefts as a kid. No.
I think I'm going to ask both of the Mary Taylors about that. I'm going to ask Mary Taylor, the mom, and I'm going to ask Mary Taylor, the wife, about that to see what Chris Taylor has done wrong in his career.
Yeah, nothing criminal. Like, I'm not intentionally doing anything wrong, but accidentally I make a lot of mistakes.
Well, Chris, we appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing you at Camelback again this year, and looking forward to seeing what the Dodgers can do in the upcoming season. Thanks for everything that you guys do with the CT3 Foundation. You can certainly continue to contribute to all the fire relief stuff through Chris's foundation, and you can also help with the Polar Plunge coming up with the CT3 Foundation on January 2nd. Get involved, help, and Chris, best of luck to you. Thank you so much for being on Dodgers territory. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate
Always.
you.
Chris Taylor, two-time World Series champion. Appreciate it very much. Clint, let's get to last licks.
Let's do it.
All right, last licks. Again, talking about fire relief. Obviously, Chris Taylor and his foundation doing some great things. Guidry's Guardian Foundation, my foundation, trying to help as well. You can win an authenticated PSA card signed Taylor Swift CD. All you have to do is go to 32auctions.com/TSCD, which is Taylor Swift CD, and create an account. It is free to create an account, and then you can just bid. Right now, the high bid is at $535. Every cent of this auction, which closes on the 27th at 8 a.m. Pacific, will go to fire relief in Los Angeles, helping animals and those in need. So we appreciate you guys for doing that and helping the folks in LA. All right, Clint, what's coming up on All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas? Obviously, Tanner Scott is official now.
Yeah, I mean, next stream we'll be talking all about the latest signings, diving into some of the things that Roki Sasaki said at his presser yesterday, breaking or shattering the glass there. Spoiler alert, that's the words I'm looking for. It's exciting to see Roki Sasaki in Dodger Blue, and I'm very, very, I'm just ready for spring training to happen already. I want to see these boys throwing baseballs. I want to see pitchers on the mound. I want to see John Suhu shots of Dodgers at spring training with the better looking uniforms again, not those stupid see-through ones.
The numbers are and the numbers are big again.
Numbers
right?
are big.
So
the names are
Sasaki
big.
Wearing 11, the name is big. The numbers are big. So thank you, Fanatics and Nike, for figuring that crap out, because those were horrible. So I'm glad to see that. Again, thanks to Chris Taylor for coming on the show. Bill Plunkett actually is going to join us on Monday. Bill Plunkett has been a longtime beat writer covering the Dodgers, and he also just wrote a book on Shohei Ohtani. It's already on sale in Japan. It's selling out in Japan. They cannot get enough Shohei. in Japan, and it is for pre-order now in the United States. So we'll chat with Bill on all things Dodgers coming up on Monday. Until then, my friend, have a good weekend, Clint Pasillas. And again, guys, thanks for being with us. Go Dodgers. We'll see you then.
And subscribe to the channel, do all that kind of stuff, all the things. Thank you again for 8,000 subs. But we'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye.